We do this every Friday between the hours of 12:30 GMT and 13:30 GMT. So you are welcome, and feel free to ask to alert some of your friends to join you so we can build a community. I'd like to also welcome on board all the family members, all the community members, and let's keep building this community and making the community stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, today, we're going to continue our series on challenges in relationships. You remember last week we started this series, and today we're going to look at understanding the challenge of understanding your partner. The challenge of understanding your partner. It is one of the most critical things you've got to master in your relationship if you are to say you have a relationship at all. But before I do that, there's a beautiful young lady that I would like to welcome on board. She's joined us in the studio. So we'll go to her and then let her introduce herself. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Uncle.
Linda, introduce yourself to the camera.
Okay, I'm Linda. Linda Lawson, service personnel.
And what do you do, Linda?
I'm a service personnel, Uncle.
Okay. All right, Linda, you are welcome. Have you been watching this?
Sometimes.
When time can permit you?
Yes. Please.
All right. We are happy you could join us. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, too.
All right. Now, we can go into the presentation straight away so we can have a lot more time for your comments. We all want to be understood. And when we feel understood, we act reasonable and sensible and helpful. But when we feel misunderstood, we become unreasonable, we become difficult and uncooperative. A lot of the problems in relationships can be traced to a lack of understanding of our partners and their lack of understanding of us. Now, I'd like to give you an imagery. Now, take your computer, your laptop. Now, these days, if you are using a computer, you'll find that almost every day you are required to do an update. You've bought a computer, you've loaded it with your software and the apps you need, and yet every day there is a need for you to do an update. If you don't do those updates, your computer will not be able to function the way it ought to and not take full advantage of the latest innovations in software and programming. It's the same way with people, that you can never fully know a human being. And every day when you are relating to somebody, it's almost as if updates are coming up. And you've got to update your mind, your understanding of that person. Otherwise, your relationship would suffer greatly. So let's look at why you need to understand your partner. And I'm going to give you 7 points. 1, if you don't, your partner will look for someone who would understand him or her. That's a critical reason why we need to understand your partner, because we are driven, we would go to great extents to look for somebody who would understand us. And so if the significant person in our lives does not show any desire to get to know us and to understand us, then we'll look for somebody who would understand us. 2, if you do not understand your partner, you may walk out of a great relationship without knowing that you are walking out of a great relationship. You may be relating to an angel and you would think you are relating to a demon. That's why you need to understand your partner. 3, you will never grow and mature until you make the effort to know another person and understand that person very well. And that is why that's the advantage of a love relationship, that it gives you the platform to transcend yourself and understand somebody else. And in so doing, you become a far better person. 4, you discover yourself all over when you seek to understand your partner. In seeking to understand your partner, you gain new insights about yourself. And that one is priceless. 5, you will discover what real intimacy is. If you haven't made the journey of understanding your partner, whatever you have it's not intimate. You haven't known what intimacy is. When you understand your partner, you come to discover what real intimacy is. 6, you and your spouse will not be strangers to each other when the children finally leave home. If you don't understand your partner, if you don't make the effort to understand your partner, and your partner also doesn't make the effort to understand you, what will happen is that your children will grow and leave the house, and the two of you will be strangers in the house. Trust me, you don't want to be in that position. 7, you would appreciate the gem God has blessed you with much more fully. Listen, it is very possible that the person in your life, the significant person in your life, is God's biggest blessings to you. It's God's biggest favor to you. And yet, if you don't make the effort to understand that person, you may not recognize that, and you will miss your blessings. But there are obstacles to understanding people. There are obstacles that make it difficult to understand anyone, and to even a greater extent, the significant person in your life, your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your date, the person you are courting, or your spouse, your wife, your husband. So let's explore 8 of those obstacles. 1, the demands of daily life. We all get so busy that we are not taking time to know each other well enough, because you're waking up and you're on the run, you come home late, you're tired, your partner is asleep. Sometimes our shadows become the biggest obstacle to understanding our partners. 2, stereotypes and generalizations. This is where we imbibe so much of stereotypes and generalizations that we don't make the hard work of getting to know the people we are relating to. For instance, there's a stereotype and generalization that fantas build houses in their stomach. Now, it's a generalization. So if you're relating to a fanty, you may not take the trouble to get to know the person better, because you think, oh, he's a fanty man. He will build a house in his stomach. Now, I am using fanties because it's the safest for me. 1, because I'm fanty. 2, because I am not strong. I can't fight. I can't stand some people cornering me in some corner and say, hey, you, what did you say about our tribe? If the fanties come to me, I'll speak fancy to them. They will understand. 3, we are too engrossed in ourselves to be interested in knowing another person better and understanding another person. 4, our conversations are getting much more shallow by the day. We are having very shallow relationships and friendships because we haven't learned to have really deep conversations. 3, we simply can't be bothered. We don't even try. 6, we pay too much attention to what people say about other people. So you are relating to somebody and you are finding out so much from other people that you are not quite interested in now discovering the person. There's an interesting thing with the relationship of Prince Harry and Meghan. When they met, they didn't know anything about each other. 1, because Meghan had not read any of the tabloids about Prince Harry, and Prince Harry also had not exposed himself to popular culture, and so had never watched any of the series of Suits or anything Meghan had done. They knew nothing about each other. But when they came together, they made a resolution. We will not let people make us know each other. We will make the effort to know and understand each other. And the result is that wonderful, when you see the two of them, their chemistry is undeniable. Now, 7, social media. We are all becoming slaves of social media. That it is possible you can have people, friends, who go to a party and they are not talking to each other. Every one of them is on the social media. There are people who, let me tell you a story. One of my most confusing times, somebody has traveled to Ghana from the US because he wanted to get to know Ghana. So we were traveling, trying to show this person a little bit more of Ghana. Then I realized that for the whole journey, this person was on the gadget doing social media. So I asked, did you come here to know this country, or you came here to do social media in a different environment. Social media is robbing us of so much. And then the eighth obstacle to understanding happens when the relationship gets physical during dating. When you are dating and sex comes in, trust me, from that point on, you are not interested in anything. All you are interested in is when would the two of us be alone so we can do it again. And so at that point, you stop understanding each other. You stop getting to know each other. Now let's look at the consequences of not seeking to understand your partner. And I'm going to look at 10 of the consequences. 1, there will be no intimacy. You don't understand me, trust me, you can't get the inner me. You don't understand your partner, you're not going to know what intimacy is. 2, there will be unnecessary fights and conflicts. Unnecessary, because of misunderstanding. You know, the kind of fight you fight, and then you sit down and you ask, why are we even fighting? And you don't know, but you fought, and you will fight again. So, because you haven't made the effort. Insecurity creeps in. Number 3, insecurity. You become insecure. You are no longer sure of your place in this relationship and whether you are cherished and this relationship is going to go anywhere. 4, affairs or cheating would happen if you don't seek to understand your partner, because if you don't understand me, I am seeking understanding. If you don't understand me, I will continue to look for somebody who understands me. And if the price of getting that person's understanding is doing it with the person, I'll do it, because the understanding, seeking to be understood, is much more important than anything else. 5, you could throw a very good thing away. In other words, you could walk out of a relationship when there is something wonderful there. 6, when you don't understand people, their worst selves appear. They give you their worst selves because you don't understand them. The more you get to understand them, the more reasonable they are, the sweeter they become. Because see, their deepest need has been fulfilled. They are understood. Because if you understand the person, you also accept the person. 7, if you don't understand your partner, unfulfillment. None of you will be fulfilled in this relationship. 8, the relationship will fail or become dysfunctional. It will fail or it will become dysfunctional. 9, you yourself will never be understood because you are not making the effort to understand your partner. And 10, all the 9 consequences I've listed will bring you to this 10. You'll have problems with your health, stress, BP, all kinds of things. Because the relationship will be so troublesome. Well, let's run through 30 questions that will help you to decide how well you know your partner. Let's play the game. How well do you know your partner? Are you ready? I'm going to list 30 things. Let's see, at the end of it, record how well do you know your partner. So, let's go. 1, what are your partner's favorite colors? Do you know? 2, what kind of childhood did your partner have? Again, remember, we're seeking to understand our partners. If you do not understand the kind of childhood your partner had, you can't understand. Because a lot of what we do now, I am in my mid-60s, what my behavior today, you can trace it to my childhood. If you understand the kind of childhood I had, you understand WHYTE now. 3, what are the happiest childhood memories of your partner? 4, what are the unhappiest childhood memories of your partner? 5, what is the relationship between your partner and his or her parents? What is the relationship between your partner and his or her parents? Because it will affect a lot of what he's doing now. And if you don't understand that one, you would get it wrong. 6, what is the relationship between your partner and his or her siblings? What is the relationship? Because again, it will help explain why his emotional state the level of his emotional intelligence, his emotional IQ. You'll get all that from this. 7, what is your partner's philosophy for life? What is your partner's philosophy for life? 8, what is your partner's philosophy for marriage? What is your partner's philosophy for marriage? I work with a young man who, the only reason why he wanted to get married was that he wanted fufu for supper every day. He said, as a bachelor, he had to make do with kenkey and WHYTE and red, and all that he wanted is to have somebody who will prepare fufu for him every day, just like his mother did for his father. That was his philosophy. Do you know the philosophy of your partner for marriage? 9, what are the fears of your partner? We are driven by our fears. So try to understand the fears of your partner. 10, related to, almost similar to 9, what are your partner's insecurities? What are your partner's insecurities? There are people who are very insecure about the shape of their head because people used to laugh at them, or the shape of their legs, or they are afraid of ever being left alone, and they act up on those insecurities. And if you don't understand, you would do quite a lot of harm. 11, what makes your partner mad generally? What makes your partner mad generally? 12, what makes your partner mad with you? 11 is generally, what makes your partner mad generally? But 12 is what makes your partner mad with you. With you. 13, have you ever seen your partner angry before? And when you did, what did you learn about that person, about him or her? Preferably, hopefully, either with you or with somebody else. How did you, when you stood back and you watched him or her, what did you learn? 14, what makes your partner come alive? In other words, when is your partner at his or her happiest? There are a few people here whom I know when they are their happiest. If I put it on record, it will be child abuse. 15, what makes your partner sad? 16, what were the childhood dreams of your partner, and what happened to them? When your partner was much younger, much younger, what were the childhood dreams, and what has happened to those dreams? 17, what are your partner's current dreams? It is possible the childhood dreams have been given up, but have they been replaced by any current dreams? 18, what are your partner's regrets in life? What are your partner's regrets in life? We all have things we regret. I have mine. Everybody, most people do. What are your partner's regrets? Because you see, those regrets, they keep eating us up. They keep eating us up. And if you don't understand those ones, if you don't know them, you will never fully understand the person. 19, why did your partner choose you? Because there is a reason why your partner either came after you or said yes to you. Try and find out. If you don't know, ask your partner. Why did you say yes? You know, if you are like Kwame, you can say that apart from my being cute, what has it? Why did you? 20. If your partner died today, what would you remember him or her by? 21. If you die today, what will your partner remember you by? 22. What is the love language of your partner? We've treated love languages. We said there are 5 of them. What is your partner's love language? 23. What is your partner's temperament? Try and find out. We've treated temperament before, so you can go into the archives and find out. 24. What is your partner's mental and emotional image of a happy relationship? In their mind, in their hearts, what image is there? in their programming about what a happy relationship is. 25. When your partner is down, what does he or she think of himself or herself? You know, it is when we are down that we have introspection. We begin to think of ourselves. At that point, we don't deceive ourselves anymore. So that is when you get to know what somebody thinks of himself. 26. What does your partner want you? What does your partner want you to love him for? Your partner in this relationship, what is his expectation of you? What does he want out of this love from you? 27. What does your partner like about you? I didn't say what does she or he love about you like. I said like. 28. What does your partner not like about you? 29. How can you tell without your partner saying anything that he is sad or she is sad? You know, have you gotten to the point where your partner appears, you can take one look at your partner and know, Cole, what is wrong? Have you gotten to that point? 30. The same situation. Can you tell when your partner is happy without your partner saying anything or doing anything? Those are 30 questions. I wonder how many of you worked them out or take note of them, work through them. It will be interesting if you can do this together as a couple. It will help you. Now, we're going to run quickly to 20 points in understanding a man. And again, let me say this. These are general things. It applies to the average man. It is possible they may not apply to every man, but it would apply to most men. So 20 points for this, and then we'll go and do a similar thing for women. Don't be surprised if when it comes to understanding women, we'll do a little bit more. Let me tell you something I read when I was preparing for this. The person said, women have a lot of flaws. Women have a lot of flaws. Men have only two. Everything they say and everything they do. Just two. So anyway, 20 things about a man you ought to understand. 1, men have fragile egos. The ego of a man. Look, we are tough, but please don't be fooled. Our egos are so fragile, much more fragile than that of a woman. It is very easy to break a man. It is very easy to hurt a man. Much easier than it is to break a woman. 2, men value respect over everything else. Everything else. Respect. Respect. Men will spell love as respect. 3, men thrive on appreciation. The little I do for you, don't say, is that all you can do? No. Celebrate me. Let me feel. Why do you think men love dogs? Because dogs, they know how to celebrate us. You know, you arrive from town and your dog celebrates you as if you are the biggest thing in history. And even though we'll not admit it, it goes inside us and we are excited. 4, men cannot handle pain. God himself knows. That's why he didn't give us menstrual cramps. If he had given us menstrual cramps, God himself, he would never have been able to sit in his heaven. 5, men are not as deliberate as women. Women are deliberate. Women think through everything, even what they wear. They think through it. I can make a sample of all the boys here, and I can tell you none of them thought through what they were wearing. Their decision as to what to wear was, is it dirty? Is it smelling? Those are the only 2. But beyond that, no, we are not deliberate. So when you're relating to a man and you are analyzing everything we say and everything you do, you'll get it wrong. Because half of the time, he may have said it the first thing that came into his mind. He didn't even think about it. So it is when you question him and say, how can you say this? That his mind begins to, hey, what have I said? 6, men are simple. If human beings were cars, man would be a very simple model. Bicycle. There will be nothing electronic about that car. Everything will be manual. Everything will be manual. We are so simple. So ladies, don't overanalyze us. You'll get it wrong. 7, when men are hurt or angry, they retreat into a cave. And you have to leave them alone. When a man is upset, when he's hurt, when he's down, that's somewhere the time you go and put your hands around him. Tell me, baby, what is wrong with you? Baby, what is wrong with you? Oh, leave me alone. That's what is wrong with me. Leave me alone. When a man is down, he wants to be left alone. When he's ready, he will come to you. He'll come to you. He wants to talk about it later. But don't say, tell me about it, tell me about it. Do that to your lady, to your girlfriends. They need that. A man doesn't. Leave him alone. 8, men define themselves by their careers and possessions. What I call our toys. We love our toys. So that's why gadgets, cars, and things like that. We define ourselves by these things. And a career. I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer, I'm this, I'm a lecturer. Yeah, that's what defines us. And that is why a man will throw himself fully into his career and not worry too much about the home. Because that's how he defines himself. 9, men are hunters. We are hunters. What that means is that we conquer one thing, we are looking for another. You understand? And so if you are in a relationship with a man, you've got to create a certain environment in which the chase never stops. In which the chase never stops. The day the chase stops, the hunter is done. He has killed the animal. He's going to look for another one. So, 10, men need sex to feel loved. They need the sex to feel loved. So when you are telling him, you let me love me before I give you sex, he's also saying, well, give me sex and I'll love you. The men need sex to feel loved. 11, men are aroused by sight. My eyes see it, my system is ready. It's as simple as that. You know, there's nothing about, oh, and I don't know you well. I don't know you, Sam. I've seen you. My eyes have seen you. That is all that matters. 12, men are more physical than emotional. We've been socialized to hate emotions. We have them, but expressing them becomes extremely difficult. We are much more physical. We are much more. That's why, what do we talk about? Sports, physical. Politics, physical. Boxing, yeah. Oh, why? Boxing is sports. Wake up. 13. A man's life is arranged in compartments, and the compartments don't miss. In the mind and heart of a man, there's work and there is home, and then there's a wife or girlfriend. They don't match. They don't meet. So when he's at work, he's working. When he's playing, he's playing. When he's watching TV, he's watching TV. Our life is arranged in compartments. It's one of the areas in which women tend to have the upper hand over us because they have interconnectedness. But we'll come to that. 14, men need their space. I know women can't understand this. It's a man thing, but give it to us. 15, when a man feels inadequate, he becomes self-destructive and nasty. When a man feels inadequate, he becomes self-destructive. He does things to destroy himself. And then he does things to destroy whatever is making him feel inadequate, or he walks away from it. He goes away from it. 16, men avoid difficult topics and issues. If it is difficult, we don't want to talk about it. So when your boyfriend is saying later, we'll talk about it later, he's running away. It becomes difficult. He doesn't want to do it. You think he doesn't care, but it's because he's afraid. You need to approach it much more differently to get him to come to the table. 17, men don't think saying I love you is important or necessary after the relationship has become stable and committed. When we are chasing you, we'll say I love you. We can say it 10 times a day. But now I've said I love you. You have said, yeah, me too, I love you. So now we have a relationship. I haven't broken the relationship, so I still love you. Do you understand? And if we marry you, we're going to marry you and we put a ring in your finger. Whenever you think that we don't love you, look at the ring. That's I love you. You know, that is a man. I mean, I know some women are mad, but don't worry, I'll come to your turn. So hold your fire. 20. Most men have a real struggle expressing what they feel inside, especially if what they feel inside is soft or sweet. We can't express it. There are men who can't open their mouth to tell their daughters, their children, that I'm proud of you. It won't come out. They feel it. It won't come out. 19. A man can be upset with you and still want to have sex with you. Yes. And there. Preach. Ken, you are making me suspicious. Ken, at your age, you shouldn't understand what I've just said. Hey, I'll need to take you for prayer, for deliverance. And I know that this doesn't make sense to women. We are fighting, then we go to bed. Leave me alone. Then his hands are on me. Yes, because one of my friends said, permit me to say this in Chi. He said, car, we didn't come home. We didn't come home. In other words, when we are fighting and when we are not even talking to each other, this one is a no conflict zone. So it doesn't go there. And 20, men forget dates. It does not mean we don't love you. It does not mean he doesn't love you. He forgets dates. So those are 20 points about understanding men. Let's do a very quick one. My time is almost gone. Let me do a quick 20 points in understanding a woman. And I'm sure some women are saying, you see, when he got there, he says his time is running out, so he's going to do it. Don't worry, I'll give it my full attention. 1, women thrive with attention. Give a woman attention she deserves and she will blossom. She thrives with attention. In other words, a woman needs to be noticed. The woman needs to be noticed. And men, don't underestimate this. When a woman finds herself in any environment and she's been ignored, it destroys her. A man can be okay when you ignore her, but a woman, no. Somebody must look at her. Somebody must understand that, hey, sitting under that dryer. So talk about her hair. Oh, nice hair, nice dress. Women thrive with attention. 2, women are aroused by 2 things: what they hear and by touch. Someone has said that women love with their ears. So you want that woman, you've got to learn to say some sweet things into her ear and learn to use your fingers and touch. So you're walking, you're going out, hold, put your hands around her, touch. Because they are important to her. 3, women are primarily emotional beings. They are more emotional than physical. They respond emotionally to everything. It doesn't make them inferior. That's the way they were made. That's as we will respond physically. They would respond emotionally first before they take a physical action. 14, everything in a woman's life is interconnected. Her relationship, her career, her religion, everything is interconnected. That is a woman. She can't break one off another. They are all together. 5, women need affection and intimacy to be aroused sexually. That is why for a woman, foreplay does not begin in bed. If you want a proper sexual life, you let your sex play always be right from the beginning of the day till the end of the day. Because affection, the little things you do, the things you say, the thoughtfulness, the sensitivity, those are the things that work for her. 6, a woman's mind never shuts off and needs to make sense of everything. A woman is not concerned with, enters here and Carnison is sitting by a lady. A woman's mind, what's going on? What's that relationship? A man will say, is that your concern? But for her, her mind, she has to make sense of it. She has to understand her environment and everything. And her mind never shuts off. A man can sit down and not think of anything. So ladies, when you come to a man sitting there and say, a penny for your thoughts, take your penny. because it's possible he's thinking of nothing. Now that you ask him, you give him a stress, because now he has to think of something to say. But he has the capacity of thinking of nothing. And some people, they think of nothing the whole day. You understand? 7, women are intelligent, extremely intelligent. If you're a man, you commit suicide when you deal with a woman as if she's not intelligent. When you are dealing, if you're a man, whenever you are dealing with a woman, just tell yourself, I'm dealing with a being more intelligent than myself, and then you'll be safe. Because in all possibility, that is the situation. 8, women are very competitive, much more competitive than men. And they compete in the areas that will shock men. They compete in, okay, so 2 women come in here and they would like to know, which of us were the boys happy to see? They compete in dress, they compete in children, they compete in anything. They compete what kind of husband you have, what kind of boyfriend you have, what kind of wedding you had, and things like what kind of birthday party you had, or was thrown for you by your boy. They